Hey guys, Tisha here, and we are back with Sister Wives Season 7, Episode 9, Tell All. I'm a little confused by this season because I feel like we're missing something, but this is what HBO Max has up there, and this is it for the season. And I don't recall them having such short seasons when it got to this point, but we're just gonna go with it. So we begin this episode talking about Mary, her not so big bombshell, which is that she's gonna be going back to college at UNLV. Mary talks about how she was nervous about telling Cody because she said that their main focus at this point had been so much about getting their kids through to college, and that she was nervous about wanting to do it too. Like, she didn't know what the reaction would be to that. She gets the same budget as the other mothers, so as long as she's taking care of it, I don't see what the problem is. Now, if it were to come out of the family budget, I can see it being an issue, but her taking care of her own, I don't see how that's a thing. She doesn't want her going to college to mess with the other kids' ability to go. I don't know how that works out with financial aid with the different moms and things of that nature, but I don't think it should mess with it. Cody said that when he was told this by Mary, that he thought that she was kidding because at this point their business is really busy, and he didn't understand why, with the business being this busy, she would want to go to school. I just feel like him not understanding that a woman who was previously going to college and had to cut it short because you all up and moved out of nowhere from the state she was going to college at and moved 6 hours away to another state, why you wouldn't think that at some point, once they got settled, that she would want to go back to school. It just shows the disconnect with Mary and Cody. We then see flashback of her telling the bird, and how even at that moment, the bird made it about herself. Tamron talks about how when she watched it from home, she was saying, "Run, Mary, run," because all she could see is like flames coming out of Robin's eyes, which means she could feel that it was very tense. And she said it. Tamron said it was very tense, and Robin admitted that it was. She said to the bird, "Do you feel betrayed?" And she says, "No, I wouldn't say betrayed. I would say ditched." I think Robin does feel betrayed, but Robin understands how that sounds. And Robin is very aware of optics. So she's going to say she felt disappointed because it just sounds, or ditched because it sounds better. She brings up how it's easier for sister wives to find relationships outside of the family because it doesn't require as much, that those relationships tend to be an easier relationship, and how her thought was with Mary going to school that this would be something that she would find very quickly. Me personally, I don't see the problem with Mary finding relationships, especially if it's obvious that she was not fitting in. At this point, she was having problems fitting in. Robin and the other wives knew it. And it doesn't make sense for them to be concerned about her creating other friendships when they didn't really seem to be overextending themselves and trying to pull Mary in. I'm not saying that Mary is this little innocent person here, but it doesn't seem like they were trying to include Mary either. They had that one little talk about Mary not pulling away, and that was that. Did you all try to go out and do things? Did you try to hang out with each other? Did you just come by Mary's house to hang out? Like, what were they doing to help secure this supposed friendship that they wanted with Mary? Tamron says, so you're basically saying you're afraid that she's going to go out and she's going to make new friends, and as a result, that's going to pull her. Oh, that's not what she said. Tamron says you're afraid that you're going to lose her to new friends. The bald eagle says no. Tamron stops him because at the same time the bald eagle is saying no, you can hear Christine and the bird saying yes. The bird says yes. The bird said that she's seen families where a wife goes and pursues something different, like a career in school, and as a result, they lose that wife. So, if this was the case, I want to know why this same logic didn't apply to Janelle when Janelle sought her real estate license. It wasn't a big deal. It just doesn't add up to me that this was such a thing, that they were so concerned about Mary, but they really weren't concerned about Mary. Like, their mouths are saying that they're concerned, but their actions weren't. There's clearly a disconnect there. She says that she was worried about her not emotionally and mentally engaging with them. And Tamron says, is she engaging emotionally now that Leon has left? And Christine says no. Christine says that's why she feels like Mary should go back to school, because this will make her be more emotionally engaging. Because if she's happy with herself, there's going to be a certain level of achievement where Mary feels more fulfilled and she feels more comfortable in herself, where she'll feel more comfortable engaging, which makes complete sense to me, because at this point, we know that Mary's identity was wrapped up in two individuals: Cody, in which she no longer has, in which she's completely lost once Robin came, and Leon, who has left the nest and went to pursue her further education. Janelle says that it has changed since Leon left. So I don't understand why they were so surprised when we find out a few seasons from now about this catfish. They show that uncomfortable talk that Cody had with Mykelti's friend. We are being reminded about how hormones go in your mouth if you kiss. Cody feels that all the dads in the world are saying that they wish that they had this type of talk with a few guys, because he's sure that there's a few guys that they like to kill. As always, Cody has to take it to the extreme. Cody says that as a dad, he wants to protect his girls from a broken heart. So I guess with that logic, at this point, Cody is not a dad, because we know that he broke Isabel's heart when he decided not to go with her to surgery. And we know that he broke Maddie's heart when he gave her mother a hard time about going on vacation, when really she was coming to assist Maddie with her daughter's amputation. We know he broke all of his daughter's hearts, because we saw Mykelti basically crying on camera when they witnessed him take Aurora to get her ears pierced during the height of pandemic. Cody is a man that doesn't honor his word. Cody says we live in a world with, what did he call it? I think he called it train wreck type of relationships, because he said people do the things like kissing and hugging and sex and stuff like that too soon before they're establishing a true relationship. And I'm like, it's so easy for him to make certain judgments on people who don't have the same beliefs as him. But Cody rushed to get married so that he can do the very things that he's complaining about. Now he's sitting here years later telling us that the woman that he got with, that he should have dated them longer, example Christine, because had he had courted her longer, then he probably wouldn't have been with her. So the very thing that you're complaining about is the very thing that I mean, it didn't technically apply to you, but you did it the right way and things still didn't work out for you. And your relationship is truly a train wreck now, looking at it. And then for some reason, Christine talks about how she's happy that he had that talk, because when a boy goes to kiss one of his daughters, they're just going to automatically remember that. Let me tell you something. Some guys really could care less about all of that. And Cody is a bunch of hot air, and real men, I mean, maybe the boys don't, but real men see it. Okay, so we hear about the sister wife closet being important financially for their family. They came to be good at making art and pieces for the jewelry. We don't like the art, and we definitely don't like the jewelry. Tamron asks various questions about why somebody else who is more qualified in the family for this, maybe Robin or maybe Janelle, wouldn't be made CEO of the company. She uses Janelle as an example, and Cody's expressions show that he was bothered by that. Kody appreciates his wife's intelligence. By that, I'm talking about Janelle. As long as it didn't mean that she showed that she was more capable than him. When Tamron made that reference, he really did make a face like, okay, Janelle. He had a problem with it. Robin said, if you want to, what am I saying? Oh, Robin said that without the titles, without the business and all those other things, that truly Kody is the leader. And Tamron says, it's interesting that you would think that he's the leader. But during one of your marriage therapy sessions, we saw an outburst from Kody saying otherwise. Kody does not want to watch this. He says, do we have to watch this? In the clip, he says he's never been in charge of the family. And he goes on this whole tangent, and we hear about how he's just going to vomit all over the ladies because he's in this session and Nancy is there. And that he says, how is he in charge when every single decision that he makes involves a committee? Tamron says, this is supposed to be the tell-all. I need you to tell me everything. What was going through your head when you made that statement? And he says, for years, he's always felt that he led, but it was always a consensus. If it has to be a consensus, then is he really leading? Maybe to a certain degree, but he's not being the leader that he truly desires to be, because Kody wanted to be able to lead without hearing his wife's mouth, period. He sees a path that he wants to be able to go on. He's used the move to Nevada as an example and how he wanted to do that. And he knew that the family needed to do that. And he led. So what he did was he went to each wife to discuss, if, I need your support in this. I want us to move here, and kind of try to sell what it was that he wants them to do. He thinks he's a leader because he does things like that. Tamron shows the contradiction, and she's like, okay, so you're saying that you're bothered by this in one breath, and then you say you're a leader because you do this in another. Your meltdown on the cameras is a contradiction, because you're now saying that the consensus is what makes you a good leader. They say it's hard to explain, and that for Kody, it probably is very exhausting. The wives admit to saying no to Kody more than saying yes. The Bird says that he doesn't have an easy job, and Tamron says, you keep saying that. You say that a lot. And she's like, because he doesn't. She would never want to be in his shoes, which Kody likes to hear stuff like that, because Kody likes to feel justified in why he makes certain decisions. Christine says she hears what they're saying, but in her opinion, he chose this. So she doesn't really want to hear that whole part about he doesn't have it easy. And he did choose it. He likes to say that they chose him, but he chose them. She said Kody married 4 strong women, and he knew what he was getting himself into. She does feel bad for him sometimes because it's hard for her too. And that also needs to be considered. I agree. Mary admits to feeling like there are times when Kody chooses silly things. He's done this more so in the past. Janelle also admits to him doing that. And when he does, she says she questions a lot of the things that he suggests, and that it takes her a long time to get on board with it. She's more stubborn, but eventually at some point she'll join him. We go back to the pitch that they did to the investors. Christine explains that she didn't mean that they were lazy when she made the statement that she made. She just wanted them to know that they aren't the type of people who just wants their money, that they want to earn it. They want to earn their investment. Kody feels like Stan's comments about them was harsh because they were prepared despite what he says, and he said it was very professionally put together. Kody can feel that way all he wants to. It doesn't really matter what Kody thinks, because Kody is not the investor. And at this point, it seems like neither is Stan them, because they still have not had the money come through. We then talk about time. Tamron says, have you found ways to improve the time that you're spending with your families as much as possible? He says it's not going well. He basically can't make it more than a week without hearing someone complain and saying that he's not spending enough time with them. Tamron says, who's the person who most recently said that? He doesn't want to reveal it. Tamron says, you guys have cameras in your home, but you don't want to reveal that. And he says, we don't have cameras in our bedroom. He claims that's an intimate conversation. I feel like that's a cop-out. Oh, excuse me. Y'all. Only me. Only me. Excuse me. I feel it's a cop-out. Lord, I done got sanitizer on the table. Cop-out. I said that a few times, sorry. Because we've seen Cody have supposed intimate conversations like this sitting on the couch with the other wives around. We've seen Christine say that she needs more time with the other wives around. Tamron, who wants them to admit who said it recently, kind of presses it. And Janelle claims that they have no idea who would have said it because they don't share that type of information with each other. Here's yet another example of Janelle lying, because at this point we know that Cody used to share a lot of information with her. According to Cody, their biggest struggle is time deficit. He said time is the currency of God. I don't know where he got that from. Cody really thinks he's psychological, no, we'll say he thinks he's philosophical. Yeah, that's what he thinks he is. He thinks he's just up there with the upper echelon. Because what do you mean? Time is the currency of God. I'm trying to think how that makes sense. Because in the Bible, it says something like, one day is equal to 1,000 in his eyes. I might be, now I'm going to want to look this up later. But it says something. Oh, y'all, I'm going to go back to that at the end of this. Sorry, it's going to bother me because I hate misquoting biblical stuff. Anyways, they're asked if the kids don't participate or practice in plural marriage. Does that mean that they aren't practicing their faith? Janelle says that their faith is so much more than plural marriage. These people are all over the place. The Bird says that they felt called to this. They don't know what their children's calling will be. We are 18 seasons in, and at this point, I still don't understand what the Browns' faith really consists of. Mary says the whole thing is that she wants whatever they decide to do, whatever relationships they decide to have, whether it be monogamous or polygamous, to have to do with what God has told them, not just what they want to do. The young adults come out. We see how much the kids have changed. We've seen before and after of Logan shirtless. Logan says he's getting into fitness. He wanted to show off his hard work. Hunter made a joke, took a picture with 2 girls, and said that these are his 2 wives and he's starting young. It was just a joke. They're both his friends. Leon is still the only one who wants plural marriage. Aspen wants to finish school, then get married, travel the world, and then eventually have kids. McKelty still wants to adopt but doesn't want to get married. She says that she's glad that her father had that talk. They're asked if they thought about anything past kissing, and most of them only want to do something more with someone that they are in love with. We then see the little kids, Gabe, Savannah, Aurora, Brianna, Gwen, Isabel, and I'm missing a child. I wonder how they chose who was going to come out and talk. Oh, no, I still don't remember. Okay, so they all like the show. Sometimes they're shy around some of the cameramen. For the most part, they don't get treated differently. They say the kids at school are nice to them. No one has ever said anything mean to them. If they're kids that don't like them, they don't know. They just don't come to them. They like having a lot of siblings, but sometimes it's frustrating because they have to yell. They always have someone they can play with. They love the homes being closer together, and they don't mind if the parents have more kids. We talk about the RV and the sewage incident. They're having general conversation, talking about snow globes, and we're being reminded of the septic tank. And Christine says that she needs a break. Tamron says, okay, you can go ahead. You're not being held hostage. Tamron then says she's never had anybody since interviewing the Browns walk off on the interview. So apparently, they let the ladies know that they're going to have a segment where they're going to talk to Robin and Cody about having another baby. During this segment, the wives were told that they're going to have them leave, because this isn't something that they would typically talk around all the other wives. This is normally a conversation that is just between the husband and the wife. So Christine must have kept thinking about this conversation, felt uncomfortable about it, and in the midst of them not even doing that scene, felt like she needed to leave. Robin went to talk to Christine. When she came back, she told Tamron, in no uncertain terms, are there to be any baby questions? I want to go back and see Christine's reaction to this, because I want to know why Christine got so upset about this discussion, because Christine already told us prior that she did not want to have any more children and that she considered truly as being the last child that she would have. So what was the reason for this? If you all know, please let me know down below. Tamron said, all that this situation does is show you just how challenging these relationships can be, and how after 5 seasons, there is still some things that are just too hard to talk about, which is true. They should have ended it like that. But instead, they started talking about the Richard family, how sweet they are. Nathaniel, Rebecca, Christina, and their kids, their 9 kids, were great to them. They say that that family does things that the Bible calls them to do. So that's why we saw them do Passover and things of that nature. I'm not going to completely go into that. If you want to be reminded of the Richard family, just go ahead and watch my rewatch from 2 episodes ago. They end the episode letting us know that they are not going to get another wife. Kody is kind of over that question. Christine seems even more so over that question. And I guess I can understand why they would be so over it, because that would be annoying if that's something you're constantly being asked, especially since we've already been told by Kody that, what? He said it in that, I don't need that. He said in the, when they were doing that meeting with Nancy, that he was done. When Janelle was talking about how she didn't want them to permanently sign that seal. I'm looking for what I was talking about, because it's gonna annoy me. Okay. It's 2 Peter 3 verse 8, you guys. It says, dearly beloved, do not be ignorant of this one thing, that one day is 1,000 years with the Lord. So one day on earth is like 1,000 with God. So for Kody to make that whole wannabe philosophical statement about God, in my opinion, he sounds stupid. I had to look and see, because that was going to bother me. And that's a weird way to end it, but it was really going to bother me. Anyways, thank you all for watching. We are on the road to 1,000. If you have not done so already, please like the video, please comment, and please subscribe. And until next time.